Alright folks, so today I'm going to show you how to tell the difference between a World War I United States SSI and a World War II United States SSI. Now first of all, if you're fairly new to military collecting or you haven't been in this business for a while, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, what's an SSI? Okay, so an SSI is basically just an abbreviation. It's for shoulder sleeve insignia. Alright, so when we say SSI, it's basically just a fancy way of saying shoulder patch. Alright, now you'll look at these round ones here, out of these few that I picked out of my collection as specific examples. Now these are SSIs, very typical ones, these nice little round ones, because they'd go on the shoulder of the of the uniform. These ones here with the chevrons and the stripes on them, these are called ranks, but I put them in here too because it's much of the same stuff that I'll be talking about. Okay, so right here, looking at this picture, can you tell me which grouping is World War I and which grouping is World War II? Well, a lot of new collectors can't really tell that right off the bat, and sometimes they get confused, and even worse yet, sometimes they get scammed for it. I've heard of a lot of people getting scammed, new collectors getting scammed on places like eBay and things like that by sellers who are taking advantage of them and trying to tell them that, oh, this patch is from World War I and it's actually a reproduction or a World War II patch, and they get scammed for it. And I don't like seeing that. So now I'm going to show you how to tell the difference between your World War I patches, your World War II patches, and later, and your reproductions. Alright, let's start off with this. Okay, this is a corporal rank. Now you'll notice that felt on felt construction, right? There's nothing really embroidered on it. It's just two, well in this case, three felt pieces sewn together. Okay, and I hate to say it like this, but it looks kind of primitive compared to these anyway. It looks kind of like it was made in somebody's shed, right? Well, this is World War I. This patch right here, this corporal rank, is over 100 years old. Okay, this is how they were made back then. This one, in particular, this is a Sergeant First Class rank, and this is from World War II. Okay, can you tell the difference now? I think now you're able to tell the difference. So what did I tell you about the World War I patch? Well, it's basically felt or wool on wool, right? There's really not much embroidering. There's embroidering on this one, but we'll get to that later. Okay, on these ranks, it's pretty much just wool on wool. I've got another one back here that looks a little different. It's a different construction. You know, you rarely get two patches that look identical like these two, which even these aren't identical, and I'll talk about that too. But still, this is pretty much the same principle, where it's just two pieces sewn onto another piece of wool, right? So, and even these aren't identical, because if you look closely, look at that. The thread is two different colors. This one is more of a bullion thread, and this is black thread. Well, it looks a little bit brown on camera, but it's actually black thread. Alright? That's because in World War I, they really weren't too concerned about the way it looked. They just used what was on hand and put these things together. Alright? Now, by World War II, it was more of a standard thing to have the patches looking like this. Okay? Now, you'll notice on this rank, right, it's still got that wool felt backing, But now the chevrons and the stripes are embroidered. You see that? It's not extra pieces of felt that have been sewn onto the first piece. They're actually embroidered on there with thread. What do you think about that? Okay? This one back here, this was my grandfather's Master Sergeant rank. This is Vietnam era. Okay? And you'll notice that this is a construction very similar to the Master Sergeant. Or, I'm sorry. This is Master Sergeant. This is Sergeant First Class. But their construction is very similar, except the backing is more of a twill material than it is on this one. This one is just felt or wool. And it's a little chewed up, but that's alright. Okay? So once again, I'm pretty sure now you can tell the difference between these three patches. Okay? And you can tell the different colors, and you can tell the different construction, and that's how you tell the different eras. Alright, so that's as far as ranks go. Let's put these aside real quick, because now I'm going to talk to you about proper SSIs. These are shoulder patches and things of that sort, okay? These are World War II era, and this one is World War I. Once again, can you see the difference? Now let's get a round one and put it next to it. Now let's put the 9th Corps next to it, okay? Can you see the difference now? This is a World War I Signal Corps patch, okay? And once again, here we go. It's got that felt backing, and then it's embroidered. It is embroidered on this one, but that's only for the insignia in the center. I've seen Army Air Service patches like this. You know, this is Signal Corps. I've seen other Signal Corps patches like this. You know, it was a fairly standard thing. And you just have your round patch and the insignia embroidered in the center. Okay, but nothing else is embroidered. And it's also felt backing. Okay, this World War II one, like I mentioned, this is the 9th Corps. Okay, you'll notice that the backing is not felt. It is actually twill. You see that? So it's a twill backing with embroidered insignia. You see that? And that's something that all these World War II patches, you got your 3rd Division twill, you got your Meritorious Unit Award twill. They're all twill with just embroidered insignia over them. And of course, that's not to say that every single World War II patch is going to look like this. But what I'm saying is, just as this was the standard in World War I, felt on felt, or felt on felt, stitched together, and very, very few instances of proper embroidering, this was the standard for World War II, where it was a lot more cleaner looking, a lot more modern looking, with that twill background and embroidered insignia on the patch. Alright? And as a matter of fact, I really, off the top of my head right now, I can't think of any other World War I patches that use the embroidering quite like this, except for, you know what? Except for the air service patches, the enlisted air service patches, those black rectangular ones. As a matter of fact, I'll pull one up now. Here, I haven't got one myself to show you, but that's what I'm talking about. See, this is a enlisted I'm sorry, I was going to say air squadron. Well, it is an air squadron, but it's a United States Army Air Service Air Squadron patch for enlisted. And this is pretty much the only other one that I can think of, aside from these round ones, that had the embroidery on there, the embroidered insignia. Now, this one in particular is the 348th Aero Squadron. And then we call them SSIs because the shoulder patch, the SSI, would go there on the shoulder. Well, it's not going to stay there really. And it would be stitched on the shoulder, and it would look like that. I guess that would be the more accurate one, because this is a World War I uniform, and that's the World War I patch. Alright, so that's how it would have looked. Alright, well that's how you tell the difference between your World War I and your post-World War I SSIs. Alright, I hope you learned something from this video. Thank you for watching.